Yo, what's up, dogs? I am back once again with another movie review, and this time we are here to talk about Captain America Brave New World. And this is going to be a spoiler free review to the best of my ability. I'm going to try very hard to make this a spoiler free review. And I do want to make a spoiler review in the next couple of days. I'm going to do that when I have a day off so I can sit down and do it. And yeah, I just want you guys to know that that's coming. So, without further ado, let's just jump right into my review, and I will try and do this as quick as possible. But I'm almost guaranteed to rant. Anyways, I was bored. I was bored watching this movie, guys. I was having an absolute struggle trying to keep my eyes awake and be engaged with this movie. I had multiple instances where I was just dozing off, like just battling the freaking eye drops, just bang, I don't know what I did that day, but man, maybe I didn't get a good night's sleep or maybe I did too much stuff. I don't know, man. I don't know what I did, but I was having a hard time keeping my eyes open watching this movie. And it could be due to the fact that the story is too simple. Like it's just a simple story. Like I've heard people talk about this as a spy thriller and stuff like that. There's no spy thriller in this. There's no political intrigue in this. It sets up a couple little nuggets of like, ooh, why did Isaiah Bradley do what Isaiah Bradley did? But it doesn't really matter because the movie itself, the character, the villain itself is revealed and tells you, I did it. Like, hey, Sam, I did this. And it kind of takes you out of it because, like, it's not really building up to a big reveal or a big like it just doesn't happen. And like even the concept of the big reveal of Harrison Ford's character Thaddeus Ross is the Red Hulk, that is ruined in the trailers and stuff. Like that would have been a nice surprise to have seen, even though like I myself, who is a comic book reader, knows what is going to happen. It still would have been a nice reveal for everybody else in the audience that doesn't really know the lore as much as some of us do. And even I'm a little rusty with my lore. I'm 45. I've been around a while. Sometimes I forget some things, and that comes down to this movie as well. Is what movie? Who's this movie? Like, what is this? Like, there's a lot of Incredible Hulk stuff in this movie. Like, there's the Red Hulk. There's another Hulk centric villain, and I don't want to mention him because that is a spoiler. But this world that Sam is inhabiting is really the Hulk's world, and there's no Hulk to be seen. And I found that kind of interesting because I don't feel like this is actually a Captain America slash Falcon movie. It's just Falcon happens to be hanging out with this element of yeah, he's just like in the Hulk's world and he's fighting the Hulk's villains. And I find that kind of weird when you're watching a Captain America movie. But be that as it may, there's still other elements of this movie that really didn't wake me up and engage me. And I have to say, a story aside, we need some really good action sequences in this movie. And there are action sequences in this movie, and there is maybe, I would say, one to two that were okay. Okay. But the action sequences that we do get are not up to par for what we already know for action in the world of the MCU, I would say, because I was thinking about just action movies in general. I've seen a ton of action movies in my life, and I don't think this is even up to where it should be. And if I wanted to dwindle that down, the world of the MCU and their action sequences, there are far better movies in the MCU that have way better action sequences than what actually goes on in this movie. And even if I want to be as bold as to say Shang-Chi has probably some of the best action sequences in the MCU, as I would say yeah, maybe to date. I don't think it's been topped. I'd have to sit down and think about that for a minute, but I still think Shang-Chi, that bus scene alone is worth the watch, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? The bus scene alone is probably a better action sequence than anything you'll see in this movie. And that's even like watching even the Hulk versus Falcon is kind of just ho hum to a degree. But yeah, I didn't really care for it. There's things about that fight where you're just like, no, I'm sorry, you missed it, you missed it. You whiffed. which kind of sucks. And even if I wanted to go one step further, like the bar has already been set to the movie Love Hurts, right? And those action sequences in there. So the bar is already at a spot. And then there's also the MCU bar. So right now in 2025, the action sequences that are great right now are coming out of Love Hurts. And so this movie doesn't even compete with that. And that kind of sucks. So you're kind of disengaged because you're just like, oh man, I'm here for some good action too. It's not even good military action. It's just not hitting, which is unfortunate because you need a good action sequence to help push along the story, especially if your story narrative is kind of a little boring and just like you're not engaged with it. You need something to engage you. And the one thing that engaged me in this movie, actually, I'll say two things that engaged me in this movie. I really did enjoy. Oh, don't mind my camera here. I'm on a wheels. My thing's on wheels. Um, I really did enjoy Harrison Ford. He was good. Like it's Harrison Ford, man. Like when he's in, you know. And I enjoyed his sequences in the movie, and I was like, "Yep, this guy has the aura. He's definitely a lead dude. Like I'm into what he's telling me." And he looked like I looked like he was actually having fun playing Thaddeus Ross and the Red Hulk. Like there were some genuine moments too where he like the love of it, like he really missed his daughter and he's going through stuff and felt like there was some actual good emotional delivery from Harrison Ford, but that's an A-list actor, you know what I'm saying, where you expect to see that from him. And this dude Isaiah Bradley, who's played by Carl Lumbly, I hope I pronounced that last name correctly, is I liked every scene that guy was in, man. I was so engaged with that character and his story and his background, where I was like, I want more of that. I want a whole movie, or not even a movie. Give me a Netflix series, Disney Plus series, whatever, 8 episodes about this dude's life. I would be totally on board with watching that because he has a very interesting backstory, and I want to know more about it. And I was just engaged with this character, and every time he was on screen, that actually woke me up. I was like, oh, here we go. Let's see. Tell me more about this dude. And yeah, so he was on board, and I added Danny Ramirez in here on my list, who plays Joaquin Torres, and I added him in here because he's kind of like the sidekick to Falcon slash Captain America, and he's kind of there for the comedic relief, but I don't. The comedy in this movie is not that good. It just did not work for me. There was barely any laughs, even with my audience. They didn't laugh at all, and I didn't even laugh. So the comedy even was a miss in this movie, man. It's just a movie full of misses. You know, it kind of sucks. You get the odd gem in there, which is Isaiah Bradley and Thaddeus Ross are like the two best things in the movie, I think. I think. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I think that's all I have to say about this movie without spoiling it. Yeah, I think so. I don't think I have anything else to say about this movie. Because, like, there's things about this movie where I'm kind of like, I think the one thing I kind of want to mention in this review, before I leave, I didn't mention the CGI. The CGI is okay. There's sometimes you're watching it and you're just like, this looks cheap, and it looks very noticeable, like very green screeny, and you're like, "Oh, are they in the volume right now?" There's some scenes like that, but I'm not going to nitpick bad CGI. I've been around since the '90s when we had horrible CGI. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not nitpicking it that much, but I just wanted to bring it up and be like, "Yeah, it didn't look that good compared to other MCU movies." You know what I'm saying? Um, what was there was one thing I wanted to say, and I think that is the one like I don't think it's going to spoil anything, but and I'll mention it again in the spoiler review when I do that. I feel like the rules of this universe don't make any sense, if that makes any sense. And it's mostly revolves around the character Captain America, Sam Wilson, Falcon, like that guy. His rules don't make sense in this world because he is a human being. He fights like he has super soldier serum. And I don't care how much training he has had. There's no way he's going to be able to throw the shield as well as Captain America. It's just not going to happen. I don't care. I don't think we've had anyone non-human or superhuman throw the shield. Like I don't remember Hawkeye throwing the shield. I don't remember Natasha throwing the shield. You know what I'm saying? So that hasn't been established yet. But Sam is throwing it around like he's a super soldier, and he's not a super soldier. Um, and that's also a story beat that doesn't really get reflected that well. Like he mentions it, like he's like, "Oh, I wish I took the serum," but I feel like they just didn't write that like engaging enough to make me feel for him as a human being in a fantasy world, so to speak, going up against gods and aliens, right? It doesn't portray itself in this movie, I think. Um, and he has vibranium armor, but I thought it was his whole suit. It's not the whole suit. It's just the wings. And he, I guess, has a helmet from Ant-Man. Um, sure, but his actual suit, the clothing that he wears, is normal. It's just normal weave. Like it's like what Captain. I don't even think Captain America had a vibranium outfit, but it's just like a normal flight jacket, and it can get ripped and torn, and he can get shot, and like things can happen to it. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, how is his skeletal form handling this impact 99% of the time as a human? Because even like Iron Man, Tony Stark, he's got the nanotech suit, right? And that's doing all the work. That's why he can survive as a human being inside the suit. And same with Black Panther, even though he has the astral, he eats the purple flower, but his suit is also a nanotech vibranium suit that encapsulates his human body, even though he's actually a superhuman. But I'm just saying, like, people have these suits, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like, how come Falcon doesn't have one? Why did they just give it to him as wings? And he's getting the crap beat out of him a lot in this movie. Anyways, I'm ranting. I'm ranting. Let me end it here. It's just the rules, man. The rules of this character are beyond disbelief, and it takes you out of the movie a little bit, going asking questions of how can he do this when I want to be stuck in. I want to be in the imagination zone. You know, I want to be locked in and believing this fantasy. But when my brain starts asking questions and taking me out of it, then I'm losing engagement, and that is the problem with this film. It happens too often for me. Anyways, I digress. Should you see this movie? I will say no. Stream it. Wait for it to be on Disney Plus. As a blue collar guy to a blue collar person, save your money. But if you absolutely have to see this film, go and see it on the cheap night. The cheapest of nights. My town, I get a $10 Tuesday night. I think if you have to see this movie, see it on the cheapest night possible and save yourself a couple of dollars. Yeah, I think that's fair. But otherwise, I would tell you to stream it and just save your money because honestly, Disney doesn't need it. Anyways, will this movie ever be in my movie collection? No, probably not. Don't ever see that happening unless it was an accidental purchase. Um, but yeah, that's all I got for this. That's it. That's my spoiler-free review. I hope you guys enjoy this review. Leave a comment section below. Let's keep the comments spoiler-free as well. Drop a like. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. And I'm out of here. I got to go to work tomorrow. First thing in the morning, so I got to go to sleep. Yeah. Don't work too hard, everybody. It's Thursday tomorrow. We're almost here. We're almost there to the weekend. I'm out, everyone. Have a good one. Peace out. Bye.